Hi guys, hope you're well. So we are going to do a delicious expression of sausages. You're going to love it. We're going to do it with a gorgeous mash on a little flatbread. Really, really nice. This is my new book, Together. We've got all kinds of different chapters, and this one I absolutely love. This chapter was called Autumnal Fare. That's what we're going to do. Let me show you how to do it. So here we've got 12 sausages. So we've got a gorgeous Toulouse sausage here. Then we've got beautiful Cumberland sausages, so a classic. And then we've got some pork and apple sausages. So look, you can get any singular sausage you like. So just mix them up like that. And I'm going to show you a really cool little hack. So you want 2 onions, give or take, 1 white, 1 red. I'm going to peel them, and then I'm going to cut them into quarters, just like that. And take them apart into little petals like that. And these will be perfect to cook in between the sausages. So get the onions, just put them to the side. And then I'm going to show you how to load them up onto our skewers. Flatten out the sausage so they're all roughly around the same length, like that. And then I'm going to do each one of these into 4. So this will serve 8 people. That's where we're going to put our skewers. So we're going to roast it as one thing. And then once it's cooked, we can cut through it. So I'm just using regular kebab skewers like that. And then what you can do is just put the skewer through the sausage, through the onion, then through the next sausage. Then I'm going to pick up the opposite, little white like that. And I'm just going to keep loading it. Doesn't really matter what order you do it. We get the second one, let's go again. Basically, like loading up a normal kebab. And then do exactly the same with the other one. So, I like what we've done. Give it a little drizzle of olive oil. What we're going to do now is roast this for about 20 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit, until golden and delicious and cooked through. Now, next, beautiful red Leicester mash. So here I've got 1.5 kilos of lovely Maris Piper potatoes that I've peeled and cooked for about 12-13 minutes until nice and cooked. Once you've drained them, just let them steam for a little bit, like that. Okay, so I'm going to use this hot pot to start melting my butter. I'm going to use a nice knob of butter into the pan, like that. And then I'm going to add these cooked potatoes like this, and while it's nice and hot, I'll add a little swig of milk. I'm using red Leicester. I'll cut the cheese in half and remove that little bit of skin. You can get about 130 or so grams of the grated cheese in there. That'll give it an amazing texture, ooziness, seasoning. Just look at that, look at the colour. Now, we're just gonna mash it up, and you can kind of keep it sort of smashed and a little bit more rustic, or just keep going if you want it silky smooth and shiny. So mash is done, sausages are cooking. Here I've made some lovely, simple, humble onion gravy. Just get a load of onions, slice them up, salt, pepper, in a pan with some olive oil, sweat them off for about 10-15 minutes until they're soft. Then I go in with some vinegar just to give it a sort of twang. You can add a little herb if you want. And then I add a blackberry or blackcurrant jam just to give a sweetness and a colour, and then a little flour and stock. So, next, let's check the sausages. They've had about 25 minutes. They should be looking good. To make this perfect, then a little kiss of honey on the top will glaze these beautiful sausages. So I would just pop that back in the oven for a minute, and then let's serve up. I'll serve this on a nice board. The whole point of having a flatbread or a tortilla is that it's handheld. If you're inside and you've got a gas hob, literally put it on like that and give it 5 seconds, turn it. You want to lightly heat it up and char it. So there we go. I've got my little flatbread there. I like to put the lovely mash on the top like that and just kind of push it around. Let's get that amazing sausage kebab out. Look at that. Just that little last minute, it's worth it, I promise you. Look at that. Oh! So we can take our knife now and cut in between the little kebabs like that. Absolutely gorgeous. And then I'll come along with just a little bit of that onion gravy and then our little bit of slaw here. Come on. Right, finger on the last sausage, pull out the kebab, right? Then just fold up this beautiful package. Oh, find a little quiet corner. Make sure no one's around. Go away, everyone. It's kind of like amazing, delicious, filthy. It feels naughty, but it's nice. Oh, it's got stodgy, got crispy bits, crunchy bits. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please enjoy the book, get cooking. I've got to eat this and then clear up. Right, I'm going to do an absolute classic dinner now. Now the night's got a bit darker, a bit cosy, comfort food. I'm going to roast off some sausages, which I'm going to do something really special with. And then I've got some root veg here. Carrots, swede, turnip, parsnip, 50% potatoes, Brussels sprouts, and a little bit of Savoy cabbage in there. So, you know, it's a real wonderful dish that can embrace all of those lovely winter veg. I'm just going to drain them. I've cooked those for about 15-20 minutes until cooked all the way through. In this pan, I want some olive oil, just a swig, and then I want a nice knob of butter into there. And then I've got some chestnuts. These are vac-packed chestnuts, and if I had any lovely fresh ones, I would, but these vac-packed ones are a really good cheat, and you can just put them straight into there. You can break them up in your fingers, give them a shake, and as soon as they start to foam, I go in with my winter veg, straight in there. So get your veg in and just break it up. And I'll tell you what, the best thing for this is to use a potato masher and just sort of put your weight on it, scrunch it all up, and you'll get this kind of mixed colour. As it carries on cooking, it will go a little bit khaki. So I'm going to leave that there like that. Now, I've bought some good quality sausages. I've got a pork sausage here, like a Cumberland sausage, so reasonably chunky bits of meat and herbs, classic recipe. And obviously, I think when you go and get sausage, try and get a good quality one. And then I've got a beef one here. And what I'm doing is I'm unravelling the sausage. And then when it's unravelled, just squeeze that into the gap where it came. There you go, just like that. Almost as if there's not a twist in there. Squeeze it through. And once you've got all the little knots taken out, you can just run your hands through it, just like that, and just flatten it out a bit. Now, what I'm kind of doing is making one giant sausage, and I shall prove to you it is worth 2 minutes of mucking about with a butcher's hard work. Now, there you go. I'm just going to put this pork one here, and then drizzle it with a little olive oil, and just massage it on both sides all over. Give them a nice rub up with olive oil. And once I've done that, I'm going to get pepper and season it. I want to get rosemary, nice handful of rosemary, like that. I'm just going to chop this up. And then get my rosemary and sprinkle it all the way over. And then a classic old English spice, nutmeg, which works really well with beef and pork. Over like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the beef on top, squeeze them together, 2 sausages, happy as Larry. I mean, look at them. And then all I do is roll it up like a snail. And all of a sudden, you know, we're making something really exciting, really interesting. Now let me get a skewer, and what I'll do is I'll just poke this through the sausage, through like that. Like a Catherine wheel, that's the nearest thing I can describe it. All the way through, and out the other side. Put that to one side. I've got 3 onions, and just finely slice them. Nothing clever about that. Now, with the onions, we're going to make the most incredible gravy. So in the oven, I've got it on about 220 Celsius, 430 Fahrenheit, and I've put a nice roasting tray in here to heat up. And I want to get some olive oil in here. Give it a shake. Give it a toss. Absolutely season the onions. Little pinch of salt as opposed to later. Pinch of pepper now, and a little knob of butter in there for flavour. Give it a little mix around. Now these onions are going to cook with the sausage, right? And that's going to be the base of our gravy, which will take seconds to finish. I'm going to put the sausage in there, and I'm going to get a few bay leaves, just because bay leaf and pork is brilliant. I'm just going to poke them in here, just like that. And of course you don't eat the bay leaf, but by the time it's cooked and it's discoloured a little bit, it's done its work and perfumed it all beautifully. And that's it. Tiny drizzle of extra virgin. I'm going to put this now in an oven, hot oven, and then this is on a medium heat now. And what I'm going to do, if I just turn this over, if you look here, can you see it colouring there? What I'm going to do is every 5 minutes, come back to this, and as soon as it goes golden on the bottom side, I'll turn it over again and flatten it out again. And you keep doing that for about the same time that it takes for these to cook, and then I'll show you the gravy. Beautiful. Right, bubble and squeak. Can you see what I mean? It's kind of overcooking, and that lovely golden crispy outside is getting folded inside. And if you listen to it, I think you find it's bubbling, squeaking. So this is nearly done. Let's have a look. Jamified, caramelised, beautiful onions. We've got the sausages that just look incredible, right? So this is how it's going to work. Sausage and juice on here, right? Bubble. On there. Tray. Back on here on full whack. Bring it up. This would be the quickest and most lovely gravy you've ever done. A little dessert spoon of flour. Stir it in, and you go and buy cheap balsamic vinegar, and I want you to put about 1/4 of this bottle in there, right? And then in with some vegetable stock or chicken stock. As soon as this has come to the boil and thickened, we're ready to go. To go with the bubble and squeak and the sausages, I want to have some watercress. I want to dress that with some good olive oil, just a drizzle, a little squeeze of lemon, couple of drips, and a tiny pinch of salt. And I'm just going to dress this up. Lovely, fresh, zingy watercress. Lovely, beautiful, intense bubble and squeak. And then all I do is pour this gravy, pour that into my bowl. Beautiful. And all I do is take this out, slice your sausage like that. Get a nice wadge of your lovely bubble and squeak. Take a load of that beautiful roasted sausage. Some of that lovely onion gravy. Nice. Hi guys, I hope you're really, really well. Okay, we're gonna cook something so scrumptious, so delicious. It comes up a lot in comments online, and that is a recipe for toad in the hole. Yes? You heard it right, toad in the hole. So the toad, theoretically, is a sausage, and you roast it up with a beautiful batter that you pour inside, and that gives you a Yorkshire pudding. I'm gonna make a beautiful gravy to go with it, with some steamed greens. Happy days. First up, I've got 9 beautiful sausages. So the first sausage, I'll put the big pan here on a medium heat, and then I'll squeeze the sausage out of the skin. And of course, the quality of your sausage makes all the difference. Go for a big one, because who doesn't like a big sausage? We're gonna fry this sausage, and we're gonna break it up with a spoon. So let that do its thing. The 8 sausages left go into that tray. I'm gonna give it a little kiss with oil. And then in this tray, I want about 1/2 centimetre of oil. So with the sausage here, just toss them up like that. So I'm gonna cook the sausages for 10 minutes. I'll also put this tray in as well to preheat the oil, right? Because one of the things about having a really good Yorkshire pudding is having that heat. So in it goes, back to this little story here. Next up, 3 onions. I'll just slice them up like this. I've gone quite fine, but if you want to kind of go a bit more rustic on the onions, that's absolutely fine. We can now give it a generous seasoning with pepper. I'll turn them down to a medium heat, fry them for about 20 minutes, okay? I'm crying, I'm emotional about it, but we want to get the lovely flavour out of the sausage into the onion. So we're gonna make the most beautiful, simple, light Yorkshire pudding batter with a twist, okay? So I've got 700 grams of plain flour, good pinch of salt. Then I've got 500 mils of beautiful, organic whole milk. And then, here's the twist, 450 millilitres of good beer. Could be a lager. I've gone for a beautiful wheat beer. Nice and fruity, nice and fresh. So all I wanna do now is whisk it up. Then we're gonna go in with our eggs. So in we go with 14 large free-range eggs. That's gonna give it the rise and kind of come out of the tray and make it fluffy. Whisk it in till it's nice and silky smooth. We need to get this batter into the 2 trays in as quick a time as possible, safely. So what you can do is just pour some of this batter, half of it, into a jug. Now put them somewhere where you can get to it easy when you open the door. So last but not least, rosemary. I'm gonna put some rosemary in each tray. So just a little handful like that. Right, let's do this. Okay, nice and calm, nice and quick. So in with half of the rosemary like that. Look at it frying. I'll do exactly the same on these sausages here, like that. I'll take this jug first. So pour that batter in and around the sausages, just like that. So that goes back on the top. And then for this second tray, we'll go in with the rest of the batter. And I'll fill it up about 2 centimeters off the bottom. And then I'll put this under here. Door closed, don't touch it. Once you close the door, don't go back to it for 30 minutes. Leave it, because you want to keep that pressure, that temperature in there. And that's how you get that amazing kind of growth of the Yorkshire pudding. So the way to take these beautiful onions to the next level is a couple of little tricks. First up, brown sauce. 2 tablespoons of the sauce goes in. Grab a little bit of whole grain mustard, just a teaspoon. Thickening agent, we're gonna use flour. So 2 heaped tablespoons of plain flour goes in. I'm gonna go in with 1 chicken stock cube. Chicken or beef, doesn't matter. And then we'll stir it all in. And then I've just got a boiled kettle here. You want about 700 millilitres to a litre of water. I'll just keep that slowly going over until that's ready in about 20, 25 minutes. Happy days. So the toad in the hole is nearly ready. I'm very, very excited. It doesn't matter how many times I've made this, I get excited every time. I think I'll take a little ladle, this gravy, and just pour it in. Look at that, beautiful. Got the steamed greens. Come on, let's do this. Look at that! Come on! Yes! So here we have the beautiful toad in the hole. Stodgier, a bit lower. And then, this is the reason that I've gone double whammy. Look at this. Come on! Crispy, gorgeous, golden. Right, let's get in there. Slice this up. I just love this dish. So there we go. The gorgeous sausage. Nice little bit of curly kale. Let's go over with some of this epic, epic rustic gravy. And of course, as you're indulging in that, then you get in here, just rip off a nice little hunk. Guys, double whammy. Big Yorkie, toad in the hole, mega gravy, a few bits of green on the side. When you feel really hungry, the weather's a bit miserable, you know, you get a bit of Yorkshire pudding. So good. I want to see you guys doing this. Get amongst it and have a little try. Happy days. So this is one of my family's new favourite dishes. It's the ultimate sausage casserole. We've got the most amazing potato dumplings that are crispy on the top, really gorgeous and gooey on the bottom. We've got loads of veg in there, a beautiful gravy, crispy sausages. So let's do it. I've boiled 800 grams of nice Maris Piper potatoes. I've got 6 big, lovely Cumberland sausages here. In that same pan that we boiled the potatoes, just whack in a little bit of olive oil. Get that on a medium heat, take your sausages, and then gently fry these for about 10 minutes, give or take, until they're nice and golden. The next thing we're gonna do is gravy. I'm gonna be using carrots here. Split that down the middle, and then into quarters. Just cut it into like 1 or 2 centimetre chunks. Now on the leek here, I'm going to just split them down the middle, like that. Just roughly chop them. So look, we've got some nice colour on these sausages now. Put them on a little bowl or plate. The sausages will flavour the fats in the pan, and that's going to make the veggies really, really delicious. Fry this off for about 10-15 minutes. It will shrink down, it will be gorgeous. In the meantime, let me show you how to make these dumplings. Mash the potato, season it with salt and pepper, you know, fairly standard. But then, if we get some nice whole grain mustard. I'll take about a heaped teaspoon, and the mustard seeds, I think, really make this. It's like a little surprise. So look, once you've mixed all that together, roughly, chop it in half with your hand, in half again, and just kind of put it in your hand like a cricket ball. It's as easy as that. 4 lovely potato dumplings, ready and raring to go. So we're now caramelising. You can see it on the leeks and the carrots. So we'll go in with 1 heaped teaspoon of whole grain mustard. Then we're going to go in, wait for it, with a good old friend of mine, brown sauce. About 3 tablespoons. It smells incredible already. Then tins of mixed beans. Get that in there, juice and all. And then last but not least, we're going to go tinned tomatoes, right? So 1 whole tin goes in, just kind of squeeze the plum tomatoes in there to break them up. And then what you want to do is fill this up with water. That'll give you that little bit of extra moisture. We're going to bring that to the boil and simmer that for like 10, 15 minutes until it looks scrumptious, right? Now, with our beautiful everyday Cumberland sausage, score little half-centimetre slices. So by scoring it like this, it looks cool. It creates more surface area, which is more crispy bits, more flavour, yes! And then on the underside, this also sucks up more flavour from this gorgeous sauce. Score both sides, take the sausage and just sink it in this sauce. Then we go in with the lovely potato dumplings, straight in there. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. Just brush it with some oil to get it really, really golden. Now, instead of using the brush, just use some herbs. A bit of thyme, a bit of rosemary, pour in some oil and brush it. And that will not only make it go golden and gorgeous, it will absolutely flavour it. Take some of those thyme leaves and just put them in and around the pan. Now, I'll put it under the grill for about 10, 15 minutes on high until golden and delicious. You hungry?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Whoa, how do you make the mountain thing?
They are potato dumplings. So let's just plate some up. You got your sausage in there. You got your veg in there. Absolutely beautiful. So a little bit of greens in there. Here we go. So let's have a little try of this.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Go on, mate.
It's really nice.
This could be a new family favourite in your home because it is in mine. I've been playing around and I've created a sausage and mash pie. Yes, a pie. So that's basically potato around the edges and the side. Then this creamy, gorgeous, sausagey stew, potato on top, stabbed bits of sausage on the top of that, in the oven, golden and crisp. And of course, the point of making a pie, encasing something, is that whatever you trap is going to kind of help all those flavours bounce around and make it even more tasty. So first job, in a pan, a little bit of olive oil, and on a kind of medium heat, get those lovely sausages in there. A nice, good quality sausage. I've also tested this with veggie sausages as well, so happy days. Just give them a little love, and I want these to be golden all the way around. As that's happening, I want to really amp up the beautiful flavour of those sausages, but also stretch a little bit a long way. So we're going to make the most delicious casserole to put inside this pie. We're going to use leeks, and they're going to go creamy and buttery and delicious, but also curveball apple. I've got a red apple and a green apple. It's quite nice actually to mix the apples because they do taste very different when you cook them. Peel these, and the thinking that I had was pork and apples, best friends. In the last few months, I have been just mucking around with basic ingredients, sausage, apples, potatoes. How can we kind of reinvent it and just make it a different experience? Just having fun with food, that's what it's all about, right? So, chunk these up into sort of roughly centimetre chunks. Get rid of the core. And then, as these sausages are getting nice and brown, see all that lovely fat? We're going to get our apple straight into that, and we want a little bit of colour on those apples. Imagine that. Yes. Now, my missus doesn't like onions, so I use leeks a lot. And when you cook them in the way I'm going to do it, you get the most incredible, buttery, creamy sauce. So, put the tip of your knife in and go all the way down the length of the leek. And as it grows, sometimes there's a little bit of mud in here. It's pretty common. Look, you can see it there, look, see? Right, so we'll just go and wash that out. Now, when you wash it out, Don't wash it towards the stalk because you're just pushing the dirt into it deeper, right? Always wash it out. Roughly slice it up to be the same size as the apple. I'm looking at that sausage now. It's got a nice colour. So just take the sausage out now. And the leeks all go in. Just give it a little swig of water. Just to stop that frying process. A little pinch of salt and a little pinch of pepper. And now turn that down to like a medium heat. 20 minutes with a lid on, and those leeks will go really tender, buttery and sweet. The next job is the mashed potatoes. Over here, I've got 1.2 kilos of Maris Piper potatoes, peeled and boiled and drained. If you look at recipes for shepherd's pie, cottage pie, the really old ones would have potatoes not just on the top, but on the sides and bottom. I like that, so I'm kind of playing with this. Just 2 tablespoons of flour into your boiled potatoes. You give it a whole load more structure. So then you can do more than just mash. You can start using it almost like a pastry. So I'll season it up just like I would a normal mashed potato, salt and pepper. If you want to put butter in, you can. Mash this together. Then we need to divide it into 1/3 for the top and 2/3 for the bottom and the sides. But look, by adding that flour, can you see how it's more malleable now, right? So we can turn it into shapes. This bit I will put over here with my sausage. And then this 2/3 here, I'll put in that tray. Now, we want this to go crispy and gnarly and gorgeous. And for that, a little kiss of oil and give it a little rub up around the sides. In we go with the potato. And then very simply, just use your hands to just pat it out, almost like a type of pastry. Roughly about 1 centimetre thick. And then as you get to the sides, up we go. And of course, this little technique you can use for any stew. If you've got lamb stew, beef stew, you know, whatever stew you want, you can do this. It's a cute little tip. Super easy, super rustic. The leeks, once they've had about 20 minutes and they're really tender, smells amazing already, we're gonna kind of amp this up now. We're gonna go in with 3 teaspoons of English mustard. Right, that won't be hot, by the way. It'll just give it a nice, big, sort of bold flavour. Then we're gonna go in with flour again, just a couple of tablespoons, and that will be the thickening agent for this sauce. A little thyme, just pick that off the stalk, and if you haven't got thyme, any nice fragrant herb is lovely. Once the flour is all mixed in, add the milk. Nice whole milk, organic, about 600 millilitres. Slowly stir that in. And now go in with the sausages, but not all the sausage. Let's save one of those back. Slice these into 1 centimetre slices. And what's great about this recipe is you're taking a few sausages a long way. So this will feed 4 people very generously. Really, really nice. Look how lovely and creamy that is. The lovely caramelised apples in there, the mustard, just all swapping flavours. So let that simmer for 5 minutes. And let's think about the topping. Get a little bit of greaseproof paper, put a bit of oil on here, rub it, and then I'll take this potato and press it down again and again and again. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. Just push it out like that. It's about 1 centimetre thick. You want it to be slightly bigger than this tray. Go in with that amazing sweet leek, caramelised apple, and sausage casserole. Look at that, come on. Then simply pick up your greaseproof paper, flap it over the top like that, and then unpeel it. If you've got any holes or if it ripped, please do not stress. It's very, very forgiving. We want to seal it to kind of trap all that lovely goodness. So get yourself a fork and your flour, just dip it in the flour to stop it sticking to your fork. And that just seals it nicely. It makes it feel kind of like the kind of dinners that my nan used to make. Nice memories. just as if it was pastry. Get a knife and kind of cut down like that. In my family, everyone fights over the crispy edge. Now there is one sausage left. So slice this up, and then I'm gonna push this into the most beautiful potato. These will get nice and golden and crispy. Last but not least, I wanna take some time, put a little oil on a board, and I'll just dab it in and around like that. And yes, it will flavour it, but that will also make the potatoes really, really golden and crispy. That's it. Now that will go in the oven for 40 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit. My tip for you, if you want a crispy bottom, which I highly recommend, is put this at the bottom of your oven, and then about 5 minutes before the end, I'll put some of that thyme on top just to crispen up, and it will look the business. Oh, look at that. Kids, lunchtime. Oh, yes. Sausage and mash taken to another level. Sizzling, golden, gorgeousness. That is a beautiful thing. So look, I'm just gonna have a little portion for myself. Let's just get in there. Come on. Chunks of sausage, creamy, leaky sauce. I've got some greens and some peas. I love a bit of mustard as well on the side. Let's just get in it. Have a little try. Love the crispy bit on the edge. The leeks are amazing. They're so sweet and creamy. And then every now and again you get that hit of the apple, which with the pork sausage is so good. Come on, what's not to love? Sausage and mash, but not as you know it. Gotta give that a try. Right, guys, you ready? It's a beautiful day today, and I'm gonna show you a lovely, gorgeous chicken pie. It's from my new book, Together. I'm really proud of it. There's all kinds of meals for different occasions. This chapter is called Laid Back Feast. It's a puff pastry pie with sausage, bacon, chicken, and that beautiful watercress sauce is so, so good. I'm actually gonna cook it today for my crew. Yay! Yes, we're gonna feed them for once. Let's give these a little wash and let's get cooking. So, 2 rashers of smoky bacon. Finely slice this up. You don't need loads, right? It's gonna give you that beautiful smoky flavor. Render that fat out. 2 chicken thighs, free-range organic. Everything's getting cut up into little 3-centimetre chunks. So get that chicken into the bacon fat on a medium-high heat. 2 sausages. Pinch the sausage out into nice little chunks like that. Brown off the chicken and the sausage and the bacon. Look at that. Season it fairly generously with black pepper. If you wanted to add some herb, what do you like? I've got a little bit of savoury, which I love. 2 potatoes. Cut them exactly the same size, 3-centimetre. Every time we add an ingredient, just stir it for all those beautiful flavours and fats. 2 leeks. The white part is very tender, and the green part has seen the sunlight, so it's got more flavour and more structure. It's a bit tougher. So the way I fix that is by finely slicing the green part and helping the cooking, you know, kind of break it down a little bit. And then when you get to the lovely white part, just clank it up into 3-centimetre chunks again. Yes! It smells amazing. While that's frying, I'm gonna have a quick little clean down. The sound that you're hearing is a good one, sizzling. So we're browning off the chicken, the bacon, the sausage, and the potatoes are absorbing all of that lovely flavour. Achieving that colour is achieving like 20% extra flavour. And now we're going to add some more flavour. 2 teaspoons of English mustard and 2 tablespoons of plain flour. So 2, 2, 2, all through the story. Easy to remember, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. We're going to go in now with 500 millilitres of chicken stock or veggie stock. You can see the flour thickening and shining up this beautiful stew. Now, to make a really creamy but simple sauce, add some milk. Bring that up to a simmer now and let it just tick over for about 15 minutes. That simple. This method now is the unusual bit. We're going to use a colander to basically separate the gravy from the meat, the potatoes, and the veg. It's going to give you the perfect texture for the filling. So when nearly all of the liquid has come out, pour it into here. Tender, tasty, and gorgeous. So let's have a little try of the gravy. Oh, really, really good. So we can take that to another level, not just in flavour, but in colour. Beautiful watercress. It's got that nice mustardy flavour. Pour that gravy on top. Whiz that up for a minute. Look at that colour. You've taken something gorgeous, but quite simple and everyday, and now it's exciting. Put most of it in here, and then about 100 mils of it you can put in here. So amazing colour, amazing flavour. Now onto the pastry. We're going to use puff pastry. It's so convenient, it's so good. It's an all butter puff pastry. Grab a little pastry cutter and just do little random sort of cuts, odds and sods. Whatever you do, make it completely erratic. Think patchwork quilt. No matter what you do, it's all going to kind of like cook and puff up into a gorgeous topping. Because there's little kind of gaps, that lovely green sauce will kind of find its way through and blip through and make nice little crispy bits. I love that. If you want to, you can glaze or egg wash your pastry. Just crack one egg into a little jar like that. Give it a little mix up and we just brush. Don't trim it. Don't try and be neat. Go with the flow. Joy. So that goes in the oven now for 45 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, until golden and gorgeous. Then we can feed the crew. Mighty fine. The crew will most definitely destroy this. Ho, ho, ho. Lovely new potatoes, peas and asparagus. I've got another dish here from the book, vegetables a la grecque. So guys, what are you waiting for? Get involved, have a go. Please look out for the book. But for now, crew, tuck in. It's that time of year when things are getting a little bit colder. It's raining and I'm in my favourite kitchen of all. This is my mobile pub, as you do. I'm going to show you how to make a delicious sausage and squash chili con carne. Really simple to make, luscious to eat. The kids love it. You can do a big old batch of it as well. And it's perfect for when the weather starts closing in and it's getting colder. Great for things like bonfire night, parties. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I've got the oven on. I've got a pan on here, a nice little casserole pan. So first up, get a nice squash. Now, the skin actually is very delicious, but what I love about peeling it is it kind of allows the squash to soak up all those beautiful flavors. So once you've peeled it, just take the end off the squash. Remember the squash is round, so obviously be careful when you're cutting it. And when it comes into slicing it like that, just like keep your hands out of the way and just gently angle it down like that. Don't put your weight on too much, nothing kind of erratic. Then we've got these little seeds here. So I'm gonna grab a little spoon and we can remove these seeds. Now these seeds you can save, you can dry, and you can plant out next year to grow more pumpkin, which is very, very cool. So I'm using a butternut squash. You can use any squash or dense pumpkin that you like. Just slice it into little kind of sort of 1.5, 2 centimetre chunks. So I've got the butternut squash done, then it's the sausages, look at that. 400 grams of beautiful sausages. Now what I wanna do is just add a little bit of oil and I wanna fry off these sausages. I wanna pull them out into little meatballs. Gonna get the sausage like that, pinch it with your hand like that, and it comes out like a rustic little ball. Very, very simple, straight in like that. The better the sausages, the better this dish will be. As soon as we got a little bit of colour happening here, what we can do is add some nice fragrant things, right? We want to get some spice happening. So half a little cinnamon stick like this, just snap it. That'll go in. That'll start toasting up in all that frying fat. I'll season generously with black pepper, which I like. Then I'm going to use 2 little spice hacks here. One is smoked paprika. The smoked paprika gives you that beautiful smoky flavour, like it's been cooked over a fire. Then I'm using a little Cajun spice. Now, these little kind of Cajun spices, jerk spices, rasa al hanout, curry powders, these are quite genius, right? Because they're little blends. So there's about like 8 or 10 spices in here. Oreganos, all the peppers, you know, garlic and onion powder. So I'm going to put 2 of these heaped teaspoons in. It's just delicious. It's going to give it real length, a really nice savoury spice that I absolutely love. Just toast that onto those lovely sausage meatballs. Look at that. That's properly rustic. And then I'm going to just highlight a little product that I kind of rate. You can use onion, carrot and celery. So the Italians will call that a sofrito. And this is a frozen product. So if you go to the supermarket, you get bags of frozen carrots, celery, onions. It's just a nice little hack. I really like supporting the frozen veg. I think it's genius. It's brilliant for like just taking handfuls, 2 handfuls, not wasting stuff. I think for busy people that want to cook lovely food, these little cheats are amazing. You know, it's not just about frozen peas. I want to use like 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. That's how you're going to get that really deep, comforting flavour. Nice little trick, actually. Using balsamic vinegar, a couple of tablespoons, right? If you think about the sweetness in the veg that we're dragging out, this will give it a nice little kind of tang, and it'll give it the most delicious depth of flavour and a gorgeous colour. Look at that. What I love about this dish is it's a family favourite. Everyone loves it. Like, you're using sausages, cheap as chips, you know, go for the best ones you can get. We're getting loads and loads of veggies into this dish. And also, it's like an amazing excuse to get more beans in, right? Because we expect to have beans in a chili con carne. So any beans you like, white beans, cannellini beans, veloute beans, butter beans, black-eyed peas, kidney beans, even chickpeas. So I'm going to use a little bit of rosemary in here. Rosemary's a great herb, really good with butternut squash, sausage. It's a lovely savoury herb, so easy to grow. So just a couple of sprigs, just finely chop that. What I love about making casseroles, chili con carnes like this, is it's got a really nice flow. You add the sausage, you add the spices, you add the garlic and the veg, you know, it just gets more and more interesting as time goes on. Look at the colours, the orange and the green, and all the kind of gnarly bits of sausage. Absolutely beautiful. Now we go in with the wet stuff in the form of lovely tinned tomatoes and some lovely kidney beans. Use any beans you want. I'm using kidney and black beans. Go in juice and all. That little liquid is perfect for creating an amazing sauce. Then some lovely tomatoes. Gonna make it sweet and delicious. And look, if you wanted to do a veggie version of this or a vegan version of this, that's fine. Just pull out the meat. And I would sort of suggest using some fresh and dried mushrooms to get that umami, that depth of flavour. Just let it come to the boil. Give it a little season with salt and then pop it into the oven. Now, what's nice about popping it in the oven is it will continue to simmer and cook, so essentially stew, but from the top it's going to bake or roast. So we call that braising, right? That means you're going to get colour on here. You're going to get reduction of liquid, but concentration of flavour. It's going to be amazing. So I'm very happy with that. Let's get that in the oven now. Normal oven, 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, and then I'll show you what to do next. While that's cooking, please click the like button and give us some love, and don't forget to subscribe. Oh, and remember to turn on that notification bell so you know what's happening. Now, back to the recipe. So it's had an hour and a half, and it's just been blipping away. Have a little look at that. I mean, it's a real picture. So you can see how it's reduced down. Oh, it looks so comforting. So I want to give you a little tip on extra deliciousness, okay? It's a good one. Potato masher. So if you just go to one little side of the pan, just mash one side. Right, so what's that doing? This is breaking up some of the sausage, some of the beans, and some of that lovely butternut squash. Right, so just do it to about 1/3 of this pan. And what does it do? It gives you a creaminess, and it gives you a real smash of deliciousness and sort of unctuous flavour. So once we've finished doing that, we fold it through with all the chunks again. So that, I believe, is how you get really incredible texture. And, oh, it smells amazing. It smells amazing. This is when we have a little try. Oh, that was so good. A little extra virgin olive oil, not as an oil, but as a kind of ingredient, right? And you get that lovely, grassy, fresh flavour, and it gives it the most wonderful sheen. And on the floor is my little dog, Conker. He's got very wet. He's chilling out, but he's very excited about this sausage chili con carne. A little bit of balsamic. I know we put some in already, but that's cooked away. But just a little thimble of vinegar, any vinegar, can often lift a ragu. That's beautiful. I'm gonna pop that back in the oven just for a little bit while I do the rice. We're gonna go in with some rice. That same mug, like a typical kind of cup of tea mug, I'm gonna fill this up twice. If you wanted to add some nice flavour, you know, you could take a little mixture of herbs, right, and just put that in there as well and get a lovely, lovely sort of fragrance and flavour to it. So this goes in and we'll boil that for 12 minutes. By that time, everything's gonna be perfect. Let's get some nice serving bowls. What shall I do it in? Let's do it in that one. Looks really lovely. Let's have a little look at this rice. It's had about 12 minutes. It goes from boiling and then that noise stops. And that's when you normally know it's just lightly frying. So that's a good sign. So then we can take out the herb. That's the brilliant thing about herb, man. They've done their job. And just use a fork or a spoon or something just to fluff it up. Can you see how light and fluffy that is? Every time, a winner. So I like that method. Smells amazing. Let's just portion up a little bit. I love rice. You can see the little flecks of herb in there. Let's get our lovely chili out. Look at these beautiful chunks. So, chili con carne, but not as you know it. And then for me, just a lovely little bit of yogurt in there. Some pepper and just a little olive oil. You can finish that with a little soft herb like coriander if you want. For me, that is beautiful comfort food for this time of year when the weather's closing in. You get epic flavour in there and texture. It's delicious. Sausage chili con carne. Super simple. Like, get it all going. You can double the recipe, you can triple it. It's not like spicy chili spicy. Like, my little 7-year-old would have no trouble with that at all. It's very mild, it's very layered. There's lots of nice little surprises, but perfect for this time of year when things get a little bit miserable. But this is delicious. Let's make this beautiful gnocchi sauce and gorgeous warm salad. We've got 4 beautiful, good quality spiced sausages. Score these sausages, squeeze it out of the skin. What we've got then is an already flavoured, incredible mincemeat to the base of this sauce. I'm just gonna break up these sausages. Let's get some fennel, 2 heaped teaspoons. Rosemary, just a couple of sprigs of that. Just take them off the stalk and that'll be gorgeous. Finely slice 2 little rashers of smoked bacon. That goes into my small pan here with a tiny little drizzle of oil. Hazelnuts, about 40 grams. Give it a little toss up. The bacon and my nuts have got beautiful and crispy maple syrup, a teaspoon. Carry on shaking it, and this is done and off the heat now. Okay, so we've got lovely French beans. Straight into a pan. I'm gonna turn the pan straight onto full whack. Go in with 300 grams of lovely greens. And they'll need no more than about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. In the pan now, we're gonna put in some Chianti. So about 120 millilitres of red wine. You'll be left with one hell of a flavour, and that's absolutely the spirit. The wine's now gone. This is the moment to throw in some broccoli. Just take the leaf off, nothing wrong with that. And I'm putting those chunky stalks to one side. Just run your knife through and just make them finer and more delicate. And then we're gonna come along with some passata, which is about 700 millilitres. Bring that to the boil. I've turned it down to sort of medium now, so it's just simmering away. So these greens, don't drain the greens down the sink because I want this water, it's full of goodness. I want 400 grams of gnocchi, lid on top, full whack, let them boil for about 2.5 minutes or until they start to float. We're cooking them in that lovely cabbage water. So last job, we want good quality extra virgin olive oil, 1.5 tablespoons, right? Then sherry vinegar, about the same amount of vinegar. Pinch of pepper, pinch of salt, drop these lovely mixture of greens, toss this. That's the way I like it. Put this back on the heat for like 30 seconds. Let's have a look at the gnocchi. They've had a couple of minutes. They've plumped up. So all I'm gonna do now is just drain this and then throw them in that sauce. See, these nuts are on the edge of burning now, and that is when we just shake this over the top. Really gorgeous. What you do is get yourself a tray, put it on the hob, get it reasonably hot. I want a sloosh of extra virgin, and I've got some lovely pancetta. Just lay this pancetta straight onto the tray, and as soon as it's kind of reasonably crisp and golden, we can pull it out. Now, to go with it, what I've done here is I've just taken out the stalks. So what I want to do is I want to sort of scald. You know how you put tomatoes in water to blanch it, 40 seconds, skin comes off. I'm going to do that, but without water, I'm going to do it in the oven. Herb-wise, 6 or so bay leaves, oregano, off the stick, and then rosemary. I want to get these tomatoes, sit them on top of the oil. Brilliant. Once we've done that, this can go straight back in the oven, just to sort of blister the tomatoes. Now, I've got these lovely sausages here, and just get a little bit of olive oil and just rub it all around your sausage. Lovely. So I can hear by now the tomatoes have had a fair bit of action. 3-4 minutes in this oven. What I want to do now, you can let them cool down a bit if you want, or use some tongs, but I like to just sort of pinch off the skins. So literally just pull them off. And then just, with a spoon, just mix it up. And then these sausages, which have been sort of tossed in the oil, just can be dangled in and around, and you want to just push them in between your tomatoes. All I want to do is get a little bit of garlic. I'm not going to peel them, just going to put them in and around. And that's sort of it. Little drizzle of olive oil, and then a little seasoning with some salt and pepper. The best bit of the dish now is the slow cooking. So I'm going to put that in about 180 Celsius, about 350 Fahrenheit, and I'll turn the sausages maybe once or twice in that time, and it'll be delish. Come on! Fantastic. We definitely need something to mop up all those lovely juices. It could be polenta, it could be rice, but I think this. Get a nice bit of bread, cut it up like that, give it a nice rip up, and then get the lovely tomatoes in on top of that bread, like that. Get a few nice sausages. Look at that, all the juice at the bottom. To finish it, a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Just a few little drips around the sauce, and that is just going to mix in a real treat. But that is a cracker, absolute cracker. Hey guys, we're gonna make the most beautiful spicy sausage pasta with gorgeous cherry tomatoes, loads of herbs, balsamic, linguine. It's a real summer classic. A beautiful meal for 6 people. So get yourself a nice casserole style pan, something that can go in the oven. Happy days. First up, sausages. You can use any one that you can get your hands on. That's cool, but they've got to be good. This is a merguez sausage. This is a Moroccan style sausage made of lamb or beef. Pinch it and squeeze it like that. I just find that's a kind of cuter size for having around your pasta, okay? Cut these off. So some olive oil goes into the pan. Let's get our sausages nice and browned. That'll just take a couple of minutes. So I'll put that on a medium heat. You know, you could do this over a fire pit, on a barbecue. You know, the smells are incredible. As that colours up, those beautiful spices come out. And then we want to start layering up the flavours. Bay leaf, a little bit of oregano, a little bit of marjoram. It's going to give you so much flavour. Then just take one red onion, finely chop it. That's the beginning of the veggies. Woo! I'm going to go celery, finely chop it. That goes in. So good. Okay, garlic. I'm just doing 2, finely slice it. So I'm taking a chilli, take the stalk off, and then I want to get the seeds out. Just use a teaspoon. If you just scrape those seeds out, and the white kind of membrane, that is where most of the heat is. We don't want the chilli to blow your head off. That's a failure, okay? We want it just to be a nice, warm, juicy sort of hug of like heat that kind of just gets the vibes going. We like that. Put that straight in. We definitely want to soften the veggies, but we don't want to burn anything. So just take care of everything. Keep moving it around. Now look, that's 1 kilo of lovely tomatoes. Don't go buying the hard ones that don't taste. Buy the overripe ones that really do taste. Look at the colours, guys. Outrageous. Also, what I'm going to do now is just a little swig of water. You don't need much, but can you hear it's frying? Okay, we want to kind of stop that. And we want to sort of now go into sort of simmering away, blipping away sort of mode. So you can see there's moisture coming out of the tomatoes now. It's getting saucy. I'm just going to season it with pepper, not salt. There's salt in the sausages, so we don't over season it. And also balsamic vinegar. Really, really nice. It's going to be unbelievable. So about a tablespoon goes in. Toss this up. Wow. So, so good. One last thing I do, get some herbs, put a bit of oil on it, spray it across the top like that. But guys, how optimistic and wonderful and summery does that look? So, we're gonna go in the oven for about 25 minutes, not too hot, about 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's just gonna simmer and blip away. All the flavors are gonna mix up and be beautiful, and that's gonna be amazing. And when that's ready, I'm gonna serve it with the pasta. Come and have a look at this. Oh! It's looking gorgeous and it's smelling pretty fantastic. We got some cooked linguine here. You can do it with any pasta that you want. I love serving it on a big old platter. Go in with that beautiful sauce. Hot, steamy, sweet, sour, spicy. I love this. Now, cheese has a wonderful ability to join up all the flavors. So I've got 3 options. Fresh ricotta, Parmesan. I think I'm gonna go for the salted ricotta, but use any one of those. And guys, that is really one of my favorite pastas. Beautiful, spicy sausage pasta. Mix it up, serve it to your mates, tell them you love them. And I tell you what, they're gonna tell you they love you too, because that is one of my very favorite dishes.